Let's go across to Mr. PKD Nambiar. Mr. Nambiar, so Uniform Civil Code was always on the BJP's agenda. Now the Delhi High Court too seems to be backing it.
Well, Rishi, there can't be a better timing. I believe that it is not only from the point of view of the BJP, all those people who believe in our democracy and our constitution should be so much of joyful today. Because as a country, unless and until you have a law which binds every citizen of this country, rather than just looking at his color of the religion, or otherwise which caste he belongs to, which religion he belongs to, I think it's the time for a 21st century. We all, as Indians, should have one common civil code. As far as you rightly said, that it may be the only unfinished agenda, which has been one of the unfinished core agenda of BJP. And if this too happens, and I think there can't be anything better. I think I would say it may be the greatest achievement of Narendra Modi, an ideological victory, a governance victory, and everything. And I think the Delhi High Court today has set the ball rolling for this to come up in the times to come. I have been talking about the Uniform Civil Code for over at least 15 years, ever since I passed out from my college. And I think this is something which we as an Indians have been missing. This is not something only for one particular religion or another religion.
I believe, for a long time it was believed that reforms in the personal laws needs to come from within the communities. But a few years ago, the Supreme Court struck down the triple talaq as well, in a way introducing reform in personal laws, in Muslim personal laws. Do you think that this Delhi High Court judgment is an extension of that Supreme Court verdict?
Absolutely. So if you really look at it, that there are many times, many people have even filed for a PIL and etc. in multiple courts, including the apex court in this country for the Uniform Civil Code. Somehow, because appeasement politics have been one of the core way of conducting politics in our country for several years, and a large section of the people, section of the politicals were trying to just hold on to this appeasement politics. But I think time have come, Rishi, that we are living in a different era, a technological era, wherein every individual is above a particular religion. And a Sharia law or any of those typical laws cannot bind a 21st century Indian anymore. I think we all swear in with one particular, as once Mr. Modi said, that our primary religion should be our constitution. That is above everyone else.
Sir, I think not many people would argue with the need for a uniform civil code, but the minorities always view it with some suspicion, isn't it? They would see it as an extension of the BJP's Hindutva agenda.
So I see one thing you need to understand, that we have coexisted as a civilization for almost 5,000 years. So as a civilization, as a society, we have accepted every religion. This may be the only land in the world wherein every religion has accepted, is being welcomed and accepted in every possible way. As a Hindu society, if you really look at it, that Hinduism is the only religion which has even given birth to multiple other religion or a sect, like a Sikhism or a Jainism or a Buddhism. So I think we need to come to a next level. We need to consider each one of us as an Indian citizen rather than just confining themselves to be a part of just one religion or one belief system. Our core belief system should be as an Indian and aligned to the Constitution of India. There can't be a better time. The Delhi High Court suggestion that a uniform civil code is very, very important. We don't wanted to have 2 or 3 different kind of or a multiple kind of laws applicable for the same people who hold the same passport. How can you imagine that you and me hold the same passport which says that an Indian citizen, but you belongs to another community, do have a different law when it comes to your personal law. So I think there can't be better anything. I'm today in a very joyous mood hearing this particular news, Rishi.
Right. And sir, to really implement a uniform civil code, do you think you need some confidence building measures? reach out to the minorities, get their confidence, because to implement this, you'll certainly need widespread support. Maybe even reach out to other political parties and build a consensus. It won't be easy.
So, see, one thing I'll tell you, generally the public at large, irrespective of which religion they belongs to, they are always ready for any kind of a reforms. So there may be a very small section of fundamentalists in every community, which could be Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, or they are the only problem. Then the most important major problem is the appeasement political parties who always believed appeasement is the only way for them to succeed and be in power. I think a powerful leader like Mr. Modi having an absolute majority in the parliament, if the government is willing, if there is a constitutional support by the courts, I don't think this is going to be a
So
big challenge.
can it be done by politicians, or do you think the judiciary has to push through such reforms? Take the
So I
example of triple talaq, for instance, where the Supreme Court finally passed a verdict and struck down triple talaq. But if the politicians had to do it, it would have become very contentious.
So it will always be a combination of both. There should be a political will and there is a support of the judicial system. If that both happening at the same time, it will be absolutely a wonderful combination to get this through immediately. But in the meantime, of course, there would be resistance. There are going to be resistance from especially from one or two, especially some communities which we all know. And another thing, there would be another kind of restraints coming from some of the political parties, which you would be able to hear it in, especially the UP elections are coming up, and you know the importance of UP election, and it's a very contagious election when it comes to these kind of matters. But I believe this can be a talking point. It is not necessary that we have waited for 70 years. It may be another 2 years or 3 years, but let the ball start rolling with this particular
All right,
comment from
sir.
the
Thank
court.
you so much for joining us.